I grew up in Southern California. Katie and I, we first met. She used to come in my gas station, get coffee every single morning, and ever since our first day, we were pretty much inseparable.
I think we had struggles a little bit during the dating, but after a couple years of dating, we did get married.
I started opening several businesses, and I was admittedly very stressed. I tried not to take it out on Katie or the kids, but I was just irritated, stressed, and I ended up bringing it home. And that's when we started having problems.
We did try counseling. You know, I think for the couple years, we probably just tried talking or working through, and I don't think we were really getting anywhere.
I really did not like going, and I wasn't really open to it, to be totally honest with you. And just out of pride and sheer ignorance, I didn't feel like we had that big of a problem.
We left one of those times, and he was just so angry. And I just knew. I knew that nothing was gonna change. And I knew that if anything would change, unfortunately, it would be after I left.
Even though she had told me before, I just didn't think we were gonna get divorced. I didn't think that Katie would leave.
I moved back in with my parents, and we shared kids back and forth. We didn't want the kids to be without us for long periods of time, so we both really decided that we wanted to exchange often.
I was just devastated. I mean, that was rock bottom for me. The reason I was working and pushing myself so hard was to take care of our family, and I felt like I was working that hard, got myself stressed out, and I ended up losing my family. My pride, the way I was, I would have never changed in my life unless we got divorced. At that point, I started thinking about, when was I happy? Why was I so miserable right now? And I remember I was working out. I was heavily involved in my church in California. I just dove into everything at Scottsdale Bible, and with Tuesday night men's Bible study and with the Wana, and little by little, that hole began to get filled by what I know now is the only thing that will ever fill it is Jesus. Ever since that day, I stopped being angry about what was going on and the divorce and everything, and I just started working on myself and changing and trying to be the man that God calls all of us to be.
During one of our exchanges, so it would have been, I think, a couple years after we had been apart, he handed me this book. He opened up and said, I've been seeing this gentleman who counsels men on how to live more Christ-like lives, and here's this book that he had me read, and he'd like you to read it. And so I brought the book in the house, and I remember my mom asking, are you gonna read the book? And I remember saying, of course. I read the book, and I wrote Maurice a letter also to go with it, and just kind of explaining, now that we're 2 years removed from this situation, here's why I left. He texted me that he was crying, reading the letter.
When I started meeting with my mentor, it wasn't for Katie and I to get back together. It was, I knew that I had some things I needed to fix. He actually told me that we would get back together, and I told him there's no way that's gonna happen. We just both really dislike each other at this time, and it's never gonna happen. There was one night we went out to dinner, and it was to talk. We were just supposed to go out and just talk, and it felt like the first time we ever went on a date together.
It was completely different. We had a completely different relationship. I think we just knew that we were gonna get back together then. 2014, I believe, that we separated. We were just remarried over the summer. So we're newlyweds. Again.
Our marriage now, compared to when we were married the first time, is night and day difference. I spend more time at church. I spend more time at home with the family.
I just feel like we're partners. We just connect now on a different level that we just didn't before. It really is just a more godly household.
Jesus is where he should be, and church is where he should be, and they're number one on top of my list.
We are just so thankful that we're back together and that we have each other and that we've been given this second chance.